about 30 more seconds, and then we'll get started right at 12:30. We'll give a minute for people to pop on as well. So. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. So we will go ahead and get started. This is Coach Annaleise, and we are so excited for you to be with us. I'm such a fan of you, and so I'm excited for more people. They may have got to see you in different dialogues with, I know that we've done some stuff with Rachel or me, and you've done stuff on some presentations, but I'm excited for people to get to know you even more on a more in-depth basis. So just to get that started, tell me about yourself.
Okay. So I'm Annaleise. I recently moved from West Virginia to Alabama. I've been a registered dietitian for about 3 years now. I went to school up in Huntington, West Virginia. I was there for about 5 years, and it was great. I'm pretty new to LiveWise, and I've been enjoying it so far. The coaching aspect has been new for me, challenging, but really, really fun. And I kind of got into the whole nutrition field because as a kid, I was pretty overweight. I started making a lot of changes. I did a lot of triathlons, a lot of like long distance running and things like that. That's where it all kind of started with me. And I've kind of maintained those lifestyle changes. And, you know, I love being active and cooking and playing in the kitchen. You know, you never know what's going to come up in my kitchen, really. So, and my friends like to call me Annaleise. I cook like a grandma sometimes. And so, but yeah, I mean, food, wellness, you know, just moving your body, like that's pretty much what my life basically revolves around. So.
I love it. And I'll say too that I love your recipes. I love that you pop them up. And if anybody has not seen her recipes, go and check it out on Workspeed, or you can go to her personal Instagram or her Facebook. They're amazing. I love the last one that you posted was about the muffins and adding the avocado to it instead of butter. Like really smart substitutes is what I love. I feel like, oh gosh, it looks so good.
Well, that substitute was motivated through, I just didn't want to waste some avocado that I had left over. So I was like, how can I use this up? And that really is like the basis of most of my cooking and baking. It's like very much determined by what's already in my kitchen and what needs to be used up so it doesn't go bad.
I love that.
Yeah.
And so I guess that can actually flow into one of our first questions. And if anybody does have a question, feel free to ask it in the comment section. Just comment if you're on Facebook or YouTube or where it is. You can just write the question and I can pull it up. So our first question is, how can I eat healthily? Or how can I eat healthy without breaking the bank? This is a common one that I know that you address, and you're really, I don't want to say like, well, I guess you can say frugal with your stuff, and it's smart. You just are very smart with ways to not waste food. And if anybody has seen any of your posts, you can definitely see that as well. But
sure.
So how can people eat healthy without breaking the bank?
So first thing I would say, you know, have a plan. Don't just go to the grocery store and pick up whatever looks good, whatever sounds good. You know, let's say you saw someone make something and you're like, I might go and make that. And then you never do. You know, go in there with a plan, make a grocery list, have a list for yourself so that you know what you're getting and kind of try to stick to that list. Mm-hmm. I personally like to do a lot of batch cooking. That way I only have to cook it once. It's already there. It's just grab and go. It's, you know, very convenient. And I always prep, you know, all my fruits and my vegetables and everything so I can just grab it really quickly and just run with it. So that will kind of help you to reduce food waste, which will kind of help to save you some money if you're not throwing away half of the groceries that you just purchased. So, then I would say another thing, you know, shop the sales. Whatever is in season is likely going to be, you know, at a discounted rate. You know, if it's like strawberry season and they've got everything, all the strawberries marked down, make some kind of fun strawberry dessert, you know, that you can enjoy, or add it to your oatmeal in the morning or whatever. But that's what I would say is, you know, kind of shop by season, you know, go in there with a plan. You know, you don't have to buy you don't have to buy organic, and you don't have to buy like the super duper expensive stuff. You know, just get some basic staples. Like typically I would say like carrots, celery, apples, bananas, broccoli, cucumbers, tomatoes, all of those, at least where I've been, they typically tend to be on the cheaper side of produce in comparison to like going and getting like a mango, which are delicious, but they might cost a little bit more.
Yep.
You know, just kind of shop the prices, see what makes more sense in your area.
Yep. I love, for me, I did this actually the other day with actually Super Bowl. So we were making some things, and I go and I find the ones that have like the discounted. So it seems like in the fresh section, they'll have like discounted items. And for me, that's something that I have found that's been very beneficial, because I have to give myself, and I don't know if anybody else does this, like pep talks before I go into grocery stores or like Costco or anything like that, because it's like stick to my, but like I even write out a plan, and sometimes I'll throw some extra things in there. I'm like, oh, that's like a sale on a deal today. And then sometimes it goes to waste. But I also found freezing stuff.
Yes.
So what are some of the top things that you think that people can freeze, or maybe some things that we don't want to freeze?
So one thing that I like to freeze a lot of, just because it's easy, it's cheap, beans actually, which might sound kind of funny, but like I will go buy the dried beans because they're really cheap, high in fiber, good source of protein, all that good stuff. I will cook them in the crock pot or whatever, and then I'll kind of portion it out into smaller servings, and then I stick it in the freezer. And I've also seen, you know, you could just freeze actual soups. You can freeze, I mean, just about anything, really. Well, not just about anything, but you know, like I love freezing the beans for sure. Right now, I've actually got some homemade pasta sauce in my freezer because again, I'm a batch cooker, so I've made a ton of pasta sauce, more than what I would need for 2 weeks, really. And, you know, I halved it and put some of it in the freezer, and that way I can pull it out and throw it with some extra veggies if I want, or just some whole grain pasta, or, you know, whatever I'm feeling that week.
Love it. And that's smart. And that helps people too, because eating healthy can be very expensive, but it doesn't have to be. If you go to the store, it's the same thing as eating out every day. If you eat out every day, it's going to be expensive. So it's finding ways that makes it work for you, and then also sticking within your budget. So we'll go to our next one. This is actually a question from the Live Wise app. And this person says, I'm always on the go with children ages 3 and 5. What are some good healthy meals or ideas that they would?
So I've actually seen a lot of parents who will, you know, what they like to do is they like to kind of provide the child with all of the options. So there might be 6 different things on that plate, and all of them are different options. Like it could be some carrots, some sweet potatoes, some chicken, you know, some rice. And then that kid has the option to kind of say, okay, well, I'm in the mood for just the sweet potatoes or just the snap peas or whatever, you know, gives them the freedom to choose whatever they're in the mood for. And you can always make things like fun shapes. You know, kids love anything that's star shaped, heart shaped. You know, you could just cut things out, make smiley faces on their plates, like it's a happy fruit plate, or, you know, yogurt or whatever. You just make it fun for the kid. And I think too, if kids see their parents eating something, they're gonna want it too. They're like, mommy, daddy, like, you know, I want whatever you're eating. And if you're sitting there eating apples, you know, you can share it with your kiddo. But you just kind of got to try it out with each kid. You know, each kid, you know, they might like pineapple the very first time they try it, and they might not. They might need to try it a couple of different times. They might need to try it a couple of different ways. But anytime you've got like whole foods, fresh produce, you know, give the kid that chance to go ahead and pick out what they want.
Yeah. And I think another thing to add to that is help letting them cook in the kitchen with you, you know.
Yes.
It's playtime. They like to have fun with it, and getting them in there can help.
And then on top of that, because I was telling you earlier about my basil and stuff, I've got my garden going. Back a few years ago, whenever I was in school, you know, we were doing gardening programs with kids, and you know, the kids are like, oh my gosh, it's so cool. Look, I grew a tomato. And they're like, I want to eat my tomatoes. So that's a good idea too. So cooking and gardening, you know, in the growing and the preparation of their meal, they're going to be learning, and they're going to get a healthy meal out of it too.
I love that. And I'll say we're blessed where I'm from is that the school system actually has like a garden. They have a whole agriculture.
Yes.
And so I know that some of them will actually go into different corporations or different areas and actually do smoothies for companies where they can buy the food. And so not only does it teach the kids how to cook, but then it also allows the adults, because you can't pass up a 7 or 8 year old saying, "Hey, try this," no, fill with spinach. It's very difficult. So
Yes.
that's awesome. I love that, and that's a fantastic idea. And from the real world experience, seeing how much it has impacted, and it can make a difference. So we'll go. Actually, Corey has a question. It says, "How long can meats be frozen for, or meals in general?"
Oh, it kind of depends on, what it actually is. I would say, and I don't remember the exact time frame here, so it's definitely something we could look up and clarify later, because I don't want to give anyone the wrong information. I would say at least, if you froze some meat, I would try to use it up in at least 2 to 3 months, just to be on the safe side. Like my pasta sauce, it's probably been in there for about 2 weeks. I'll probably go back in there and try to use that up within a month. Go ahead and put it in there, but I would try to get everything up and out within 2 to 3 months. But we can definitely come back to this, and I can get a more clear answer for that one too.
And I think the thing too is, what I found is some people, they'll then forget that it's in their freezer. And so they'll wait a year. So either way, I think still staying within that 2 to 3. So you don't have to go buy extra stuff. And then it's the same thing as if you go buy food and it just stays in your refrigerator. It's going to go bad. You don't want the same principle to happen, kind of. So definitely, I know that we've looked this up the other day on cooked foods. Somebody I looked it up with. But it was looking at hot dogs, because I was telling them that I'm not a fan of hot dogs.
I'm not a big fan either.
Because let's just say, if it has to have some things to get botulism out, nitrates, it's probably something. But they said that you could literally eat it up, like Google, so that you could eat it no matter how long. And I'm like, I don't feel comfortable with that answer. But you also got to be a little bit logical. So, saying that if it is already a pre-cooked meat, that it does have a longer lifespan, or already cooked. But that's, sometimes you also do have to do your thoughts on that. So I know that can get something sometimes be controversial. Great question, Corey. If anybody else has any, please pop them up. We're going to go to another question that actually comes on a lot. And it is, how can I get my family on board? And it may have some of the similar answers as what we talked about earlier, but how can somebody help? They're trying their best. They want to eat healthy, but then the spouse or the child or somebody doesn't seem to be on board. How can somebody help with that? Or how can you help?
So yeah, it is I would say some of the stuff we just talked about, like, hey, the whole family can garden. Hey, the whole family can cook dinner. There's, that's your team. That's like your hub. That's your home hub. Y'all got to work together. So for sure, whatever that might be. Or for me, and like my husband, absolutely hates sweet potatoes, but I love sweet potatoes. So I'll just swap out something different for him. And it's really not a big thing, We've tried different ways, will not go for it. So, but that's okay. But I would say just try different recipes. Like, you might think you hate Brussels sprouts, but really you just hate Brussels sprouts prepared the way that your mom always prepared them. So you get kind of creative. Just try different recipes, try different things, and see what everyone likes. You could even do you could have like one family member plan. Like, I've heard of people that'll do family member of the week or whatever. I don't know, something. And their reward is they get to pick what's for dinner, and they can plan a meal together, or
Yeah,
I
love that.
But always just trying new stuff. And I'm going to try to get some more just veggie recipes out there soon. Just because, hey, if you try it once, twice, and you don't like it, all right, well, try something different.
Yeah, and that's something like me growing up. What I have on my plate over here is Brussels sprouts. Growing up, I thought Brussels sprouts was the grossest thing ever. And I love these things. I do olive oil, and I actually throw maple syrup on them. I stole it from a recipe from a company
Hmm.
that actually cooks them, and I had it because they're like, everybody talks about how you got to go to Brussels sprouts. I'm like, we're in the South, and everybody's talking about Brussels sprouts. Something's got to give on this. So they do add bacon to theirs. I don't, but either way, it's amazing. It's actually something that has helped me to be able to open up some of my ideas, and I preach this for a living too. So, and that's the thing I think is that even us, we struggle with some foods and finding ways and being creative. So, um, this is a common one that gets asked, but it is something that I think I don't know anybody that doesn't struggle with this. If you don't struggle with this, you're awesome. Um, but how can someone balance between what is best and what is realistic for their life?
All right. So I feel like this kind of puts a lot of pressure on someone. Like if you're trying to be like perfect, it's kind of impossible. But I feel like this kind of goes back to like what we've talked about through work speed, like just trying to be the best you that you can be. Wake up and try your best. Like your best today might be one thing, and then your best tomorrow might be something else. Wake up and just constantly have that mentality of, okay, well, I'm gonna fuel my body, I'm gonna nourish my body, and don't be so hard on yourself. Like you don't have to eat perfectly every day. You don't have to have that perfect workout every day. Um, that's a lot of pressure, and I don't
And nobody has them.
know. And I mean, I would be overwhelmed and stressed out, and just say to heck with it. I'm just gonna go watch Netflix all day. Walk. You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
getting up and just doing the best that you can is what's best. Don't push yourself. If your body's saying, hey, I need a day to just chill, listen to your body. So be realistic. If you can only fit in 30 minutes of a walk, go walk. Or I like to walk and talk to my friends or my family. Like it helps me to just kind of I'm getting in that time with my family and friends, but I'm also taking care of myself at the same time. So if you can find a way to multitask and get a few more things in there, like, yeah, just find out what is realistic for you and your schedule and your family and your health, and kind of go from there.
And I'll say, adding on, I'm a huge proponent, especially in the corporate environment and just in general, all on top of it. But adding the walk and talk meetings, you can have them with your kids as well.
Yep.
So me and my kids, we do walk and talk meetings. It is just something that has been beneficial, and especially I found more towards males that if you sit in front of them, they usually will close off because it's like. But if you get them walking, they're more blood to the brain, and then they can stay in that conversation a little bit longer. And so that's been very beneficial for us. But then also the creative juices come, and you, like I said, you're getting blood to the brain. You're getting those. You're getting more to be able to think and be able to do greater things. So that is a. Oh, I can't say enough of how awesome walk and talk meetings are. And you're being outside. Even if you can't go outside, find your route. Everybody typically has a little path that they might connect with their areas.
That's how Mike and I will catch up after the day of being at work or whatever. Like I'll be like, let's just go walk a lap around the neighborhood. And, it's a good, easy way to just kind of connect. So it's nice.
It is. And I learned this, I think, originally from my husband, because I wanted to have some like these in-depth conversations, and like sitting, like I'm tiny, so I don't think I would say that I'm very like I scare people or whatnot, but like that's overwhelming to have your wife in front of you and about to ask you questions, because it's like you got to come up with answers, you got to fix the issues or whatever it may be. But I found if we just go for a walk, and it's like, okay, I don't have to fix the world, I just have to just talk, and have this conversation. So that's awesome, and I love that y'all do that as well. So, so we are. Anybody else have any additional questions? So we try to keep it within 20 minutes to be respectful of others' time. But if not, I'll ask. I'm going to ask 3 more questions. So this one is one that I've experienced, that people, they get stuck and like they want so bad. I have the theory that 85% of people want to live healthier. There's a 15% that just don't care, and that's okay. You don't have to. But majority of people do want to live healthier, be happier, and whatnot. So how can people get unstuck? They make the same goal every year, but not seem to be able to follow through with it. What could you give advice for them?
So I think this is kind of something that we've talked about with WorkSpeed in the past. Like kind of going through your history, like what goals are you setting? And, just kind of you got to talk to yourself. It might sound kind of crazy, but you got to talk to yourself and say, okay, Annalise, I set this goal last year. I didn't get there. What were my roadblocks? And you just have to sit there and be honest with yourself and say, all right, this, and this. And then you just got to troubleshoot it. Find a way to make it work in a way that doesn't feel like a chore. It's like, as much as I would love to, go back and do half Ironman triathlons again, like I did when I was a kiddo, that's a lot of training. That's a lot of time out of my day. So I've had to manipulate my lifestyle so that I can still live healthfully, but not spend 4 hours working out every day, So you just got to be honest with yourself. Personally, I like to journal. I think I've mentioned that in the past. I like to journal and just kind of work through situations. It just kind of helps me put my thoughts onto paper, and it helps me organize and say, okay, well, I did this, and this last month. It maybe didn't work out so well for me. Maybe I'll try this, and this. And I just kind of stay in touch with myself, and it's a give and take. It's a trial and error kind of thing. You got to find what works best for you.
And I love that you journal, because I wish I was better at journaling. I use a microphone, and so or my app, I have a recording, so I'll record my stuff and then I'll listen back to it later. But the thing is like, even with journaling, one, you're writing it down, you're adding another sense to it. But the other thing that you're doing is you can see your wins that I love, and being able to celebrate your wins a little bit better, because I know sometimes it feels like nothing seems to be going right. But then whenever you look at your past, and you can, the other day I did look at journaling I did in college, and it was so funny to be like,
oh, cool.
This is what I thought. And this is where I am. And I'm like, oh, we thought those were problems. Those weren't even problems. Those were jokes. And get to see how my life had been guided and directed through it. So I thought that was something for me that the journaling has been very helpful. And I definitely, that's awesome that you do that as well. And just writing it down and getting it going. So here's another one is, how can I increase accountability and actually complete my goal?
Well, first I would say get an accountability partner. It could be a WorkSpeed coach, it could be your mom, it could be your best friend, it could be a coworker. Having someone that you report to and you talk to is a huge deal. Like I've mentioned, I don't know if I've mentioned this in the past or not. I probably have. One of my best and longest accountability partners I've had is still, I'm calling her later. She's my college roommate. She's one of my best friends. She and I would go to the gym together. We would, try to eat healthier together. Whenever I call her, I always walk whenever I'm talking to her. And she's just someone that I kind of check in with, and I say, hey, here's how I'm doing. And she and I just work through things. But, just have someone that you can report. It could be your husband too, I kind of forgot, or partner, whoever that might be. Have someone that you can talk to and say, hey, I'm not doing so well today. And they can kind of pump you up a little bit, because sometimes you just need someone to nudge you and say, you got this. Keep going. Don't give up yet. And always, you can always reward yourself. I've seen things on like Pinterest or whatever, like, oh, okay, like I met my goal of how many vegetables I wanted to eat today, or how many steps I got, and you put like $1 or a quarter in a jar, and you kind of see over time, you see that progress because that jar is filling up, and then you're like, oh wow, it's been like 50 days, I have $50, and you can go buy yourself a new workout outfit or something, treat yourself to a day at the park, go to an amusement park or something, reward yourself.
Yep. And I've done a lot of surveys from companies, and so just people in general. Money always seems to be one of the top motivators. And so I love that. And so finding ways, or if you have a group of people that you can possibly put money in and the person that completes a challenge per se. The other thing that I found, I thought it was interesting. I've never seen anybody try it. It was just a recommendation, is that if you want somebody that wants to go work out together, that you trade one shoe with each other. And so you have to show up so that
yeah. What? Yeah. I was like, what do you mean trade shoes? Like, what if they don't have the same shoe size? But okay, like, you have to show up.
You have to show up. So if you really want, like, you gotta be there.
I would really have to trust that person to show up with my shoe.
So yeah, so
that's funny. That
was another idea that had been thrown out. Yet, hey, if anybody is watching this has ever tried that, please let me know. Or if you have any ideas that you have for accountability that y'all do, let us know, because I love hearing them. It's very interesting to see.
That was very unique. That's the first time I've ever heard that.
Yep. So, I do. And so I guess we'll close out with, who are you the ideal coach for? Who can you help, and why should people reach out to you?
I would say, honestly, I'm the type of person where, food has been a huge part of my life for as long as I can remember. Like I said, I was a pretty overweight kid, and I had to make some changes. And I was picked on a lot as a kid because of my size. And, I would say a lot of people who just need a little bit of motivation. If you've struggled with your weight for as long as you can remember, you need someone that understands and wants to help you. And, I'm not here to shame anyone. I'm not here to give anyone any grief. I'm just here to motivate you and encourage you to do, what you feel comfortable with, push you a little bit, to strive and be better. But I can say that I've been there, I'm still there, and I'm on a journey myself. I'm not here to say that I'm perfect. I eat great every day. I work out every day, I'm on my own journey, and if I can help anyone else with theirs, I would be thrilled, just thrilled. That's the whole reason I'm in this field, is to help other people, not tear them down or make them feel bad about themselves. I'm here to motivate and encourage people.
And I love, and if you don't want to talk about it, you don't have to, but I love one of your recent posts that you put out. And it was talking about how you were shamed by your doctor.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to go elaborate on that, because I think that's very important for people to know, like, where your heart comes from, that people may not get to see.
Sure.
That you have been there, you felt it, and you can relate in a different way.
Sure. So I recently went to the gynecologist, and I had asked the doctor a question about like oral contraceptives and weight gain, and he pretty much told me that the reason I had gained weight previously on oral contraceptives is because I took too many trips to the fridge. A comment like that is just very disheartening. It just kind of makes you feel like, oh, I'm the problem. It tears you down. It doesn't really like motivate you to make changes. It just, it kind of hurts. Mm-hmm. And then, he didn't know anything about my education. He didn't know anything about what I did for my career. And then also what I had mentioned in the post is, he didn't ask me about my relationship with food. He doesn't know anything about my history with food, and a history of like disordered eating and exercise bulimia. And, I already know that my body looks the way that it looks, and him making a comment like that may have come off as tough love, but it was more discouraging than anything. Mm-hmm. And then, as I was leaving, he said to me, the next time I see you, you better weigh 135 pounds, and your husband will call me thanking me. Mm-hmm. I do not weigh 135 pounds, and I am not even close to 135 pounds. Like, even when I was doing the half Ironman triathlons, my lowest weight was 155. And if you look at the picture, I'm small. Like, I'm pretty small in that picture. And quite honestly, I would never want to be smaller than that. As a personal preference, I don't want to. Mm-hmm. And, him making that comment, I just joked back. I didn't take it personally. I just let it roll off my shoulders. And And I made a joke, and I was just like, I think my husband, he likes what he sees, and he doesn't lose it, and that is true.
Mm-hmm.
I'm fortunate that I've come far enough in my journey that a comment like that doesn't set me back. I can just kind of acknowledge, all right, this isn't someone who's going to help me get to my goals. This is someone who's going to put a roadblock. He's not motivating me. He's just hurting me. So
Yes.
I'm going to move to a different professional, and I'm going to work with somebody else. But if someone isn't motivating you and they're just tearing you down, get out, run, go to somebody else.
Amen. And I think that's so true, is that I call it fat shaming. And that's what it is. It's like, and that's the thing that for us, we don't talk about weight loss a lot, because I can't stand it, because I've never found any good with it. We need to love ourselves.
For sure.
And it's the thing, it doesn't matter what size you are. You can have issues with it. I remember so vividly, and I bet you can remember certain things in your life vividly. Whenever I was 12, I weighed more than I weigh now, and I was a foot shorter. And I remember sitting at a family get together, and one of the uncles come in, and he goes, "Dang, you gained weight. I'm 12.
Yeah.
I'm 12."
That's hard.
And it's like the issues I had with food. And that's one thing I love about you and how you talk, is that it's about your journey with food, and not being afraid of food. And I love that you are very open with people, that it's not about what's yes and no, or good foods versus bad foods. It's about food. We put too much feelings and too much things behind it, and not being scared of it. So
never be afraid of food unless you're allergic to it. Then think about food. But, food is such a complex. People don't think about it. Everybody eats. So you don't think about the emotional, mental, financial, physical impact that food can have on your body, because you look at it and you're like, oh, it's a salad. Oh, it's a burger. But, there could be like an emotional tie to a certain food, or
grandmother made the biscuits.
Yes. It's very complex, which is probably why I enjoy food. It's, it dives deep into all kinds of history, future, whatever. But yeah, because I remember putting in that post, like how your uncle said that to you when you were 12. I had, whenever I was like a kid and I was playing soccer, and I was a big old kid, I know, but I was the biggest kid on the team, and we were at a tournament, and my coach said, because we were losing, like we were doing so bad that game, I remember, but I was like, I'm going to try so hard for my team, like out there trying my hardest in that like halftime, or however it is in soccer anymore. It's been forever since I played, but he was just like, Annaleise is the biggest girl on this team, and she's out there outrunning all of you guys. So you all have no excuse to not try harder. And, here I was just going out there playing a game, and it pretty much was like, you're the fat kid, and if anyone is slower than you, there's no excuse. And I was like, so I'm the weakest link, is pretty much what you're saying.
Yeah.
But I remember that. I don't know, probably close to 12-ish. I'm not sure, honestly, how old I was at the time, but I never forgot that.
So, and that's the thing, is how many people have those stories, but they don't talk about it, or they don't discover that it was something that kind of stuck with them. And so that's the thing I think that you're very good at doing, is helping people, one, realize those things, and overcoming to a point that you can work on living your best life. Living a wise life that is it's intelligent, safe, and empowered. It's something that is best for you. So I greatly appreciate you, and I'm so excited, like I said, for everybody to get to know you. I hope they saw your heart. You have one of the biggest hearts and love for people. It's so awesome for people to get to see that. So everybody, please, if you are interested, you can have a free discovery call with Coach Annaleise. You can do that by going to the link below. It is just kind of meet the greet, kind of see a little bit, tell her what you might be needing, and see if she might be the perfect coach for you to help out. It's just either way, you'll get informed and get some awesome information. So thank you, everybody. Y'all have a blessed one.